Shalom, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai. Let you all praises to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, that belongs to the apostles, elders, and bishops, great millstone, that taught us this word. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect across the planet Earth, pushing this truth in spirit and in truth. I just want to talk about, a new heaven and a new earth. That's basically talking about, a new rulership on the current planet Earth. The Earth isn't going to be completely destroyed and wiped out, and there's a new Earth somewhere else. Now, it's the same Earth, but it's just going to be under a new rulership. The old Earth is going to pass away. With Esau and his rulership, and when Yahushua comes back and takes his man out of power, and then the Earth will be governed again in righteousness. That new management. But the first scripture is 2 Peter 3:10, and that's only going to come through this destruction. So that's why we hasten the day. We look forward to these things. Time of Jacob's trouble, our temptation, ultimately that nuclear destruction. It's going to be a day of darkness, but these things must come to pass in order for Yahushua's kingdom to come onto the planet Earth, man, to reign, for Yahushua to reign on the planet Earth. First scripture is 2 Peter 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also, and the works thereof shall be burnt up. I was talking about that nuclear destruction. The outcome of this World War III that's on the brink. That's coming up real soon. And we can see that through the prophecies that are coming to pass. And that's also how the elect is going to be delivered. The scriptures talk about salvation. To look out for your salvation draweth nigh. He's talking about the elect being delivered from this nuclear destruction with what the world refers to as UFOs. The Lord's going to come back in a cloud, as the scriptures described him. We know them as the chariots of Israel. That's how the elect will be delivered. It's getting, quote unquote, beamed up in those ships. The same way that Yahushua left in the book of Acts. Same way he left, he's coming back in like manner. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. It's going to be a terrible destruction. You can look up the effects of a nuclear war or nuclear destruction, and it'll break it down from the mushroom clouds up to the hurricane force winds that those missiles will produce, and all the way up until the millions of tons of smoke and soot that's going to be produced from those nuclear missiles. And the scriptures talk about how the sun and the moon shall not give their light. That's going to cover up the stars, and the sun is that smoke. And how the earth is rolled together as a scroll. It's referring to the mushroom cloud. Now the elements are melted away with fervent heat. The nuclear missile, when it goes off, it's the surface. It produces a fireball that's hotter than the surface of the sun. So that's going to produce a lot of destruction, and a lot of elements are going to be melted down. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? You're supposed to be focused on the truth, man. That's what your conversation should be. Not building up yourself here in America. Your focus should be on salvation. Your focus should be on the word. Your focus should be on Yahushua and the names, praying in those names, and putting forth the work so that you can be delivered. Because everything is going to be burnt up, man. All your physical possessions. You're not going to be able to take that with you, man. looking forward and hasting unto the coming of the day of the Lord. That's why we look forward and hasten the coming of the day, man, because that's when Yahweh Shai's kingdom, the kingdom of heaven, is going to be ushered in, man. Looking forward and hasting unto the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for a new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. So yeah, there's going to be some places that are going to be destroyed. America is going to be completely destroyed, but all the other places are going to be built back up. Where America is going to be a desert, for forever. A monument, a place of remembrance of how not to be. So that new heaven, that new earth, it's right here, that new rulership on the planet Earth, wherewith draweth righteousness, or dwelleth righteousness. Because this man's system is going to be taken down. The real New World Order. This man thinks he's going to be Esau. He thinks he's going to bring in his great reset and his New World Order. And the Lord is going to allow him to get to a certain point. Scripture said, when he's about to fill his belly, then that structure is going to come on him. So he's going to get to a certain point where he's going to usher in his New World Order, which is the microchips and all that. But that's the world of wickedness. The Lord is going to establish a world of righteousness, which is the kingdom of heaven. So Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So I'll let you know who's in rulership right now. The wicked is bearing rule because the whole earth is mourning. There's nothing but war and destruction all over the place. It's always been like that. Everybody's really mourning on the face of the earth, man. Poverty is the majority of the people on the world. There's 8 billion people living on this planet right now, and the vast majority of them are living below the poverty line, man. At places like America and the first world countries, where some people are getting regular food and 24-hour electricity, but the vast majority of the world, people are suffering, because the wicked are bearing rule. You got trillionaires right now. They can solve world hunger with one swipe of a check, one signing of a check, like Elon Musk guy. They announced him as being the first, trillionaire that they put out there publicly, man. There's all kinds of trillionaires and billionaires out there that can fix the planet, but they're not going to do it, man. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. So when this new heaven and this new earth is established, this new rulership under Yahweh Shai, that's the world that's going to dwell righteousness. And the people are going to rejoice in that day. Even though they're going to be slaves for 1,000 years under the Israelites, they're still going to be better off than being free in Esau's kingdom, man. And after 1,000 years, when they get put into their own lands, they set up their own system, they're still going to have to pay tribute to Israel and to keep our laws and our ways. And they're going to be with it because it's righteous, man. You're not going to have laws where women are set up over men, and women can commit adultery and get away with it, and child support laws, and all this crazy laws that are set up on this side. It's where everybody's an alcoholic or a drug addict because everybody's so depressed and have mental health issues and shit. It's going to be a world that dwelleth in righteousness. So it says right here, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, which is going to be that new heaven and that new earth. When the wicked beareth rule, people mourn, which is this world right now, world of darkness and misery and depression, and the people are mourning all over the planet Earth. It's Isaiah 65:17. For behold, I create a new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come to mind. So this place is going to be like a dream, man. You're going to forget all about it. This man, Esau, his rulership, when it goes down, you know, as the scriptures say, you're not going to remember, this side ever again, man. America's going to be completely, wiped off the planet Earth. So Job 20:5, that, 4, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Yeah, this man's triumphing is actually pretty short. Even though he's had the longest rulership out of all the nations. Most High allowed every nation on the planet to be in rulership for a certain season of time. But Esau, he had the longest rulership. He's been basically in power since the Greeks. And then the Romans went down. Jake got in there, Byzantine. And then, the Renaissance period came about. That's when Esau came back into power. He's been ruling since then, ever since. So he had the longest, rulership out of all nations. But really, it's for a short time, because his rulership is up. And Jake is going to be ruling for forever and ever, even ever and ever, man, for all eternity. So it's really a short time. The hypocrite, but for a moment. It says, verse 6, though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach up to the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dove. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yet he shall be traced away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. Yeah, so he's gonna trace away like a vision of the night. Well, every night you dream about something, you don't even remember it anymore. You wake up, you don't remember that dream, man. So as we said, so as the scriptures say, for behold, I create a new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come to mind. So this time that we're in right now, man, we're not going to remember it. We rather write it down in books. It's going to be remembered through literature, through history books, But the Lord's going to create a new heavens and a new earth, new rulership here on the planet Earth, man. And last scriptures are Revelation 21:1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first earth and the first heaven were passed away, and there's no more sea. And that nuclear destruction that we read in Peter. The day of the Lord, the heavens shall pass away. The great noise, that nuclear destruction. Because when those nuclear bombs hit, it's going to make a great noise. It's also going to make a great earthquake. The earth is going to rock to and fro like a drunkard. The element shall melt with fervent heat. So that's the first earth. That's how the first earth is going to be passed away. And I, John, saw a holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. So that New Jerusalem is talking about the elect coming down, from what? Them ships. Because I spoke about the UFOs, or the clouds, or the chariots of Israel, man, those vehicles that the angels get around in, and that big vehicle, that mountain-sized chariot that the Lord's going to return in. The elect is going to be beamed up into those ships. And eventually they're going to come back down. And that's what John saw, the elect being beamed back down, prepared as a bride for her husband, That's when they're going to receive them crowns, And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And the Most High himself shall be with them, and be their power. And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. And this is the new heavens, the new earth, and new rulership, man, under Yahweh Shai. And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. And there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Yeah, the former things, this earth right now, under Esau, the so-called white man, the former things have passed away because it's what we deal with every day: death, sorrow, crying, and pain. So that's why I read in Proverbs, man. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And it's nothing but death, sorrow, and pain in this world, man. The way this world is set up. So you got everybody's an alcoholic, everybody's a drug addict. Suicide is through, the suicide rates is through the roof. Don't get started on the black community, man. Not only we have to deal with Esau's bullshit, we also got to deal with these curses, man. So the black man in America is totally messed up, even though he tries to hide it. But deep down, man, the black man in America is messed up, man. He's done. And he sat upon the throne, and he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are faithful and true. The Lord is faithful and true, man. So this is going to come to pass, man. The Lord's going to wipe away, all that pain and crying and death and sorrow, man. All the tears. That's that new heaven, man. Where dwelleth righteousness. The people are going to rejoice. Everybody's going to rejoice. Even in these other nations that are under us. With that, shalom.